Again, there is spoilers in this, so there is spoilers, but I'm gonna begin. So my first three choices would be for the Rings of Power series would be um I have it on my list. Let me pull it up. So my first picks would be Elrond, Halbrand, and Theo. Right? Obviously, I'll give everybody a rundown for them. Halbrand is he proclaimed himself or assumed like he was like the exiled king of the Southlands. Obviously, he was suspicious, like from the start. Basically, he had like a suspicious look in his eyes, and in a way, his actor played him. He played really, not hinting towards him being Sauron, but like pointing towards it a little bit. At the end, we always do figure out that he is Sauron at the end of season one. But um, and then he also, he likes smithing. So if you ever read the lore about Halbrand, or not Halbrand, but if you ever read the lore about Sauron, he wants to craft the rings, right? So we'll skip him. We'll go to Theo now. Theo, the son of, I forgot her name, the girl who likes the guy who's the elf who hugged the tree or kissed the tree or whatever he did. When he was he was working for the orcs on one of the digging sites where they dig tunnels. Theo, as you think we saw in the first or second episode, Theo actually took the hilt of the sword and he kept it. He would keep it underneath one of his wooden planks in his house, and he would hoard it. Like he wouldn't hoard it, but he would keep it, right? So Theo would eventually do whatever it was, stab itself in the arm or the wrist or whatever, and he would start bleeding, but it would actually, I think it would show the symbol into his arm. So I always thought Theo would, up until episode 8, that Theo was Sauron because, you know, it couldn't be Halbrand because Halbrand never did this. Theo literally had the hilt, and he used it on himself, and he has a motivation to defend his mom, obviously, to fight back, he has like that eager attitude of like almost independence, but more, he doesn't like the orcs, he doesn't like, them coming around, but he also wants to be a big man to show, people that he's strong too. Um, so Theo was my major one. I thought Theo was always going to be it. And then my third one would be Elrond because in one of the episodes, I don't remember exactly which one it is, but Elrond he is disappointed because he's been working for about 2 to 3 episodes long to try and get Durin, I think is his name, the son of the king of the dwarves, to agree to one of the deals that they want to make with themselves, the elves, and the dwarfs over Mithril. Right, they want to get a deal over Mithril. Eventually, in the first part, it's eventually them working together to make a big crafting thing. Then they learn about Mithril, and then everyone wants to pursue that because it would help the elves last because their elves are dying, or that they're going to die soon, or they're going to have to leave Valinor. So that eventually fails, and the king, who is King Durin's father, with a very long beard, says no, and Aura refuses it, covers up the Mithril cave thing, and everyone's disappointed. And in that moment, it's just the self-doubt that he looked down and the self-doubt that he had about himself, and that threw me off is because he was outside of the cave or the kingdom where in the mountain. That it really felt that Elrond was it. And he had that disappointment all throughout the episode because he couldn't get the agreement with them. They were so stubborn. So it kind of set that belief in my mind that Elrond might be a Sauron. But I'm gonna tell you why I think Theo would have been like a better Sauron than Halbrand, I think, because Theo would make more sense. Obviously, he's a kid. Obviously, he doesn't like the orcs. But then it kind of contradicts itself. So I think Halbrand makes sense as Sauron. Elrond kind of does because he's an elf. Obviously, he doesn't like, he's been failing. He can't make business dealings. He can't do anything for his masters, or he can't do anything for Celebrimbor. He can't do anything for him. So he just fails. So he gives up. But Adar, I don't think Adar would ever be or I did like when I saw the episode where he got revealed. Okay, Adar, and then he showed his face. I didn't think it was Sauron either because Adar wouldn't be built up enough to be Sauron. He wouldn't be built up enough to be Sauron. Um, and he didn't really have a motivation. Like, I don't think the show would be like, okay, here's our main villain. Because obviously the story of Sauron was he was well, historically or whatever it was according to the lore, he was a corrupted elf or a corrupted man, whatever it may be. Adar, no. The guy who talks with Thea when they're at the watchtower thing. He has a very scruffy beard, guy with gray hair. Um, I didn't think it was him because they really never poured enough into his story. He was just like a lackey for Adar to put the hilt inside the stone thing and turn it. He was just a lackey for him to do that. Otherwise, I don't think I have any more predictions for anybody else because I don't think anybody else could be Sauron, right? And that recently in episode 8, the Meteor Man or Stranger Man or whatever they call him, he's definitely not Sauron. People on YouTube said that, oh, he may be Sauron, or here's my case for why he may be Sauron. No, because it's only really revealed that he is not Sauron, but he maybe hinted towards it in the 8th episode. Is that okay? He doesn't know his language until some event happens with the cultists, the dweller, the Akalist, whatever you say name, and the nomad who show up. And they do whatever magic things in episode 8. Obviously, they have a fight. Obviously, he picks up the thing. He says, I am good! And, obviously hinting towards him being Gandalf. Obviously, he's good. So, Meteor Man out. Okay, the Meteor Man could have been, especially when he came that shot from the meteor, and then was roaming around. He couldn't control his powers. Some caused destruction. Some caused a flower to grow. Some caused apples to boom out everything. So obviously not him. And I don't think anybody else I would think would be Sauron in the show, right? Theo was set up to be pretty good because Theo had an aggression towards him. Elrond obviously had disappointment that would have played into it. Halbrand really was inconspicuous until like later on in the episode. So you see like, okay, you get hints at what his storyline is. Okay, what his backstory is. Oh, why was he here? Oh, like Galadriel tries to point out. Okay, or I don't know the exact what she said, but she's trying to point and pick and prod of what actually his backstory was or why he was in that situation. But she got really no answer, just leading things. So she never really, hinted. She never really got the answer to what she expected until episode 8 when they got the scroll. So until episode 8, everybody was shadowed out because Halbrand is already spotlighted. So otherwise, Adar doesn't win. Adar isn't in my choices. But it's mainly Halbrand, or no, it's in the main order of who I thought it really would be. It would be Theo. What is his name? What is Elrond? Theo, Elrond, and Halbrand, because they have the most. Theo has the most set up story I would believe to be Sauron because he's angry, has a built up I want to be a buff man suspicion, but then he has some lackeys in his story. He has some problems in his story, obviously, that would contradict him being Sauron. And then Elrond obviously has disappointment, and he might not be satisfied because the king too doesn't want to do anything to help. He's really benevolent. He doesn't want to help anybody out, and he's like, okay, we're not gonna do this. We don't have 3 weeks or whatever it may be. And then Halbrand, I guess, peeking at his story, he wants to cover up his story and doesn't want to tell it. It worked. I guess it's Sauron. So do research on Sauron. Also, there's some videos you can watch. Don't get too deep where you spoil yourself into the next season. But I'm just gonna give you a little thing. This is a spoiler, I would say, for the next season. But Adar rebelled against Sauron. Sauron was cast into exile. This is not full confirmed. I don't know. It might not be in the show, but Adar might have rebelled, and that's why he's so pro of the orcs, and he's not pro using them as like your slaves or like their workers or whatever it may be. But I hope you guys did enjoy. And if you want to play this game, it's called Star Wars Heroes vs. Villains. Pretty cool game. Play it. There's a bunch of, you can obviously play like heroes, villains, and all that things. Have a great day, and see you guys. Bye bye. And I'll be uploading more Roblox videos, either like commentary videos like this or just gameplay videos in the near future. So bye bye.